In today's video, I want to talk about intentional living. What is intentional living? Intentional living is when you are doing something every single day to further yourself to be successful in the thing that it is that you want to be successful in. Intentional living is making sure that you are taking steps, you are being consistent, you are following your passion. No one is successful by accident. You don't see accidental success stories in books. You see biographies of people who worked really hard to get where they are today and the steps that they took to do that. So if you are wanting to achieve a certain goal, you have to start living intentionally in order to achieve that goal. So let's just jump right into it. I wanted to achieve the goal of being a published writer, published author. It was one of my dreams since I was the youngest kid. I can't even remember what age, maybe 7, 8 years old. Like that was just always in the back of my head. Not everybody knows that goal about me because I didn't always share it with everybody, but it's always been true in my heart. And I finally made that goal come true. It's been, about 30 years later, and I finally did it because I stopped living in a world where I was worried about what everyone else thought. And that is really hard to do. And I'm not going to say I don't still think about it, but as soon as I think, oh my gosh, what about this person? What about that person? I say, you know what? It doesn't matter what they think. What they think of me is none of my business. I wanted to write this book. I wanted to publish it and I wanted to put it out there regardless of what anyone thought about me. And you know what? If you lose people by doing the things that make you happy, then those aren't your people anyways. And this was the true test to get them out of your life. If that's how those people are going to be, or they're going to be judgmental, or they're going to, make fun of you for doing whatever it is that you did, then you don't need those people in your life. 100%. It's really hard to cut people out, but you know what? That's your wake-up call. That's your sign. These aren't your people. And you shouldn't be worried about what everyone else thinks about your happiness because we only get one life and you never know when it's going to be taken away from us. So you have to start living intentionally to follow your goals. So now I'm going to give you some tips about what I did to get to where I am today to be able to achieve this goal. Okay, so something I knew about myself was that I'm not diagnosed or anything, but I'm pretty sure I have some form of ADD, ADHD, some kind of focusing issue. I love to start things and then I see something else and I go do that and then I jump around to this and my chores never get done unless I'm really intentional about them because I'll start the laundry, but then my daughter needs me to do something. So then I end up cleaning her room and hang up her clothes. And then my son needs me. So then I'm in his room and nothing gets done unless I'm super intentional about it, set up a schedule and hold myself accountable for it. And so for me, I know having somebody help me stay accountable is super, super helpful. It's super focused for me. It gets me super focused. And so working from home now and being my own boss, it can be really tricky because I need to make sure that I'm doing the things that I need to do in order to, follow my goals and achieve my successes for the day. And so it can be hard to do that. So for me and what I would suggest to others, find someone who you can be with to hold each other accountable. So either an accountability partner or maybe an accountability or mindset coach. For me, I kind of have both mixed in one person. I have my friend Andrea who has become my coach and she's been my coach now for 8 or 9 weeks. And I'll insert the text here that I had sent her back in August when I was wanting to work with her, but I was flustered and all over the place. And I was still so much in my head about what do I want to do and who do I want to be? And, I feel like I've been doing that for years. And it's so frustrating. And then the moment I think I figure it out, I'm over here doing something else. And it's just craziness. But then I went back to my old roots. I'm jumping ahead of myself now, but I went back to my old roots and I found my true passion. So I'll talk a little bit more about that too. But the first thing I would say is find somebody that you can talk to, whether it be a coach or a best friend or somebody that you talk to all the time that can help hold you accountable for the things that you want to do. Because if you don't have somebody to talk to about it, it can very easily just be your own thing. And then you never really have that accountability where someone's asking you, hey, how's that book going? Or, hey, how's your course going? Or whatever. If no one's checking in with you, it's so easy to just be like, whatever. It wasn't really that important anyways. Even if it really was, it maybe just got too hard or, you weren't able to get through the next hump and you didn't have anyone to talk to about it with. So I really, really believe in like having somebody to talk to and check in with about things like that. So accountability, definitely the most important thing. Okay, the next thing that you really need to make sure that you know and understand for your intentional living is, what is your true passion? What is your niche? The biggest question out there, right? I know that I'm not alone in struggling with exactly what that thing is. And for some reason, it is so hard for people to really get to that nitty gritty deep passion, because I feel like there's a lot of fear or there's a lot of doubt that we can't actually do it, or maybe somebody's not gonna appreciate it or like it, or all these feelings, right? There's so many different feelings. Or maybe you like so many different things like me, and you're not really sure what to focus on and how to incorporate that into your life. Or you're someone that's not like, I don't really know what I like. I don't really like anything, and I don't really know what I'm good at, and I don't know how to portray this to people. There's so many different doubts that all different people go through, and we're not really sure how to go from there. So for me personally, I found this to be super helpful. And once I started talking to a lot of people and getting engaged with them, it really came to fruition for me that like a lot of people had to do this, even if they didn't think about that this is what they had to do. So for me, I went back to my kid roots. What did I love doing as a kid? Before I had responsibilities, before I had to worry about getting a job and earning money and all these things, what did I love to do? So that's what I really encourage people to go back to your kid roots, because we did a lot of things when we were kids that we truly loved to do, and we had no other worries about doing them. So we just did them anyways, right? And then when you grow older, you get all these different ideas, and you know you have to be financially stable and provide for your family, so you end up just maybe doing a job that you don't really love, but it brings in the money, right? So go back to your kid roots. What did you love doing as a kid? Maybe like a preteen even. Did you love to read? Did you love to do sports? Did you love to craft or knit or do puzzles or bake or mow the lawn? Or I don't know, like what did you like to do as a kid? That I think really gets back in our heart, and we're like, wow, well, I like really loved to cook. And that can be your niche. Now, it doesn't mean you have to go be a professional cook somewhere in a restaurant. It doesn't mean that you have to host a cooking show now. Like, there's so many ways that you can brand yourself with cooking, and it doesn't necessarily have to be this big elaborate thing of things that you don't want to do. We can make it so you can brand yourself with things that you do want to do. And let me just point out here, because I was talking to my girl and she has a girl, you do not ever have to show your face. If you don't want to show your face on video or social media, you never have to. People do it all the time and are very, very successful. You don't have to do your voice. You don't have to do your face. There's ways around things like that. So if you're nervous about putting yourself out there, please know that there's other ways that you can get around with having to not put your face on the internet if you don't want to. Now, if you do happen to be okay with it eventually someday, it's better to see your face and your voice because people want to know who you are and put your name to the face. But you can also get that curiosity factor when people don't know who you are and they're like, who is this girl? Who is this guy? Like, so that can be something too. So just keep that in mind, that everything is possible and you can work around all those things. So please don't worry about that kind of stuff. But go back to your passion that you liked as a kid. And I think that can really spark a lot of awareness to where you should go for your niche or your brand or whatever it is that you're trying to figure out. If you've watched this channel at all, I think you know what the next one is going to be coming, is having a schedule. So in order to be intentionally living, you have to have some kind of schedule that you are following day to day in order to get the things done that you need to get done. You've got to be able to have some consistency in your life. If you don't, you're just going to be flying all over the place and you're not going to know where to go. So even if you already have a 9-to-5 job, you have 3 kids, you are hosting events every week for your local church or whatever it is that you're doing, you need to be able to find a time slot to focus on your goal or your niche or whatever it is that you want to do. You could literally build an entire YouTube channel about making puzzles and every night give yourself 15 minutes to do and work on a puzzle, record yourself doing the puzzle, and then upload the video to YouTube. Like literally, yes, you can do that. And that could be a channel. People don't think that these basic things could be a channel, but they can. And then over time, you could then combine all of those videos that you took, put it in one giant video, and then you fast forward it, and people can watch you put the puzzle together, like all together at once at the end of it. I know it sounds crazy, but people love to watch things like that. Like, I honestly want to do that now just because I said it, because it sounds interesting and like people would watch that. It's crazy. And you know what? Even if no one watches it, who cares if it makes you happy? That's all that matters, is that you're doing something to make you happy. And if it does, potentially be able to be monetized or financially stable in the like later on, then that's awesome, right? But you got to just start with doing something that's making you happy. And that's the way to intentionally live, because essentially that's what we all want at the end of the day, is to be happy. Okay, and the last thing I want to talk about for intentional living is really being consistent. So I know that I talked about this already, but I cannot stress the importance of being consistent with whatever it is that you're doing. So let's say that your intentional living involves you wanting to start a brand or a new career doing something, okay? So I'm just going to use my own example because it's going to be way easier for me to reference too. So for me, I wanted to write a book. Now, I wanted to do this for years, but I never really brought it to the front of my mind for a long time. Back in February 2022 of this year, my neighbor was actually my best friend, one of my best friends now. She is my neighbor too. But she was writing a book and I was like, wow, I just always wanted to write a book. She's written a few now and I'm just like, damn, like I really want to do this too. And she's like, do it. What are you waiting for? And I'm like, damn, you're right. What am I waiting for? And I had already had like probably 15 different starts of books in my Google Drive, which I still do. And because I always start them and I'll write like 50 pages and then I stop. And I just always let myself get held back. And I've always kind of wanted to like share my story, but I wasn't really sure how I wanted to do it. And I don't want to throw other people under the bus. Like it was just a whole thing, right? And so eventually in February, I was like, no, I'm just going to do it. So I started writing this book. And probably a few months later, I got to like 100 pages and I was like, damn, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can share this story. It was so therapeutic though. And it was like super helpful emotionally and like just like all like the healing I needed to do, or realize that I was healed already. So I wasn't really sure. So my son has joined us because he wants to cuddle. So I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do for my story. So I stopped that story and then I started writing poetry. And I had already written poetry as a kid. I didn't really include those exact poems because they're like not the best. But anyways, what I did was I went through my old journals growing up as a kid and I put this book together about all the past experiences that I had gone through. And it's pretty dark. So it was dark poetry. So with those poems, I put them together and I decided to write and publish my first book, which is dark poetry, because that's kind of what it was all about. But at the end, it tells you a little bit about what my life is like today. So that's my next book is going to be, my first book is called Fighting Darkness. And my next book is going to be called Choose Happy, because I want to inspire people that no matter what you go through and all the things that happened in your life, and maybe like you've been depressed or bad things have happened to you or whatever it is, you can always move on and change your life. And believe me, I never really thought that was possible. I never really thought I'd be in the place that I am today. And I worked so hard to get to be where I am today. And I never gave up and I never stopped growing and learning. And it was really, really hard to do that. But I want to be that inspiration for other people, that it doesn't have to be a negative, horrible life for the rest of your life. Things don't always have to be the way that they are just because you're so used to it. As humans, we get in robot mode and we just accept life for the way it is, even if we're not really happy. And I don't want to live like that. And I know a lot of other people don't either. So that was what my book was about. Even though it's like really dark and personal and tragic, I needed to put that out there so that other people know that you're not the only one. You're not the only one stressing. You're not the only one going through hard things. Or maybe you know somebody that's going through a hard thing and you don't know how to deal with it with them. But like this book hopefully can, I hope people can't really relate to all the horrible things. But at the same time, I hope it's relatable in the sense that you're like, wow, I also struggled with something really hard and I didn't know how to move on. But this girl is moving on and look what she's doing. So I made it into my dream now. So even though all the hard things that I went through, it made my dream come true of publishing a book and being a published author. Like I can literally say I'm a published author with a book on Amazon. Like what? That's insane. So yes, I will put my link down for my first book down below. And now I'm going to be working on my second book. And so my goal is to have it out in just a couple of months. I want it to follow really quickly. But in order now to go full-fledged into this writing life, I have to be intentional. And that's what this whole video is about, right? Being intentional. So what I had to do first is I really wanted to work on my YouTube channel, and I really want to bring this to be a big thing. I want to document my journey and share my life with other people, because I want you to be able to see how I'm growing and learning through the mistakes that I make so you don't have to make them. And so when I talked to my friend Andrea, my coach, I said to her, she said, what was the one thing that you wanted to focus on? And I was like, I really want to focus on building my YouTube channel up. I love to do it. I love sharing my journey. I love reaching people. And she was like, okay, then that's your goal and this is what you're going to do, right? And I'm like, yep. So we decided at that time that I was going to post one video every week, and that was going to be my main focus, is just posting that video. But behind the scenes, I was still working on my book. I'm still doing a bunch of other things, but no matter what, I had to post that one video. So I did. Now it's like 8-9 weeks later, and I'm up to the place now where I'm like, all right, I'm going to post 3 videos a week, okay? I wanted to really jumpstart it because I have so much to share, and one video is not enough. I want to be able to put more things out there. And I've made it a place now where it is in my schedule to make YouTube videos. It is in my schedule every day to be intentional about saying, what's my next YouTube video going to be? How am I going to provide value to my listeners, my subscribers? And I want to share so much more now. So because I've made it my job, now it's like, okay, I'm good to go. I know how to do it. I actually have my schedule behind me where I say like, hey, this is a visual reminder every day. If I'm sitting there scrolling on TikTok because I got sidetracked, I look up, I'm like, no, girl, it's Wednesday. You're supposed to be doing this, this, and this. Focus. And so it kind of gets me back on track. And so I just want to say, focus on one small task at a time. Pick one small thing that you want to build up and then go from there. Okay. So with my YouTube channel, it goes with my writing and my books and the reading and the things that I love to do that I'm doing every day anyway. It goes with that now, but I'm also building that entrepreneurial business on the side where it's like, I love reading, and so I'm going to talk about reading on YouTube. I love writing, and I wanted to write a book and publish it, and I'm going to talk about that on my YouTube channel. So all I'm doing is recording my actual life and sharing it with you guys, okay? But along the way, I'm building up my brand and my business and who I am. And so if you're wanting to live an intentional life, you have to think about the things that you want to do in life and start taking small tasks every day to work toward that actual goal. So in case you haven't noticed either, my 3-year-old son has been here the whole time recording. I'm sure you've heard him in the background, and I'm not letting that stop me. My husband's not home right now, so he can't watch him. I have to record this video, and so he's gonna be in it. Don't let imperfections get the best of you and use that as an excuse of, I can't do this because. Don't say that. How about, when can I do this because it's important to me, and fill in that 15 minutes of your life. Maybe you find 15 minutes, run out to your car and you say, hey, I'm going to record a video really quickly. I'm going to talk about what I struggled with today and how I'm going to do better tomorrow. Bam. Gratitude channel, right? You can do anything you want. You just have to enjoy it. Feel happy about it. Be passionate about it. That's the only stipulations I'm going to give you. Who cares if anyone ever sees it? Who cares if you ever make money off of it? That's not what intentional living is about. And intentional living is about living happy, choosing to do the things that you love, no matter what the outcome's going to be, and you're just doing it because you love it. So I really hope that you find ways that you can be intentionally living to follow your dreams. I really hope you enjoyed this video today. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to follow my journey on my writing, my bookshop, my vlogs, my crafting, all the things that I love to do, I share here on this channel. So I really hope you follow along with me. I'm really trying to get 1,000 subscribers before the end of this year, December 31st, 2022. So if you can share this video, that would be fantastic. And I can't wait to see you in the next one. If you have any questions, comment down below. It was just...
Take a picture of my glove. Take a picture of my glove.
Okay, I can't really take a picture right now. Hold on, let me see if I can... Ready?
Please.
Mommy's done recording, okay? Awesome. All right, let mommy finish. So I wasn't...